All right, so this video is going to be about sex-linked traits, and a synonym for them is called X-linked traits. And that's a very good name for them because they are actually traits that are on the X chromosome. So, when we are doing sex-linked traits, we have to use kind of a different set of genotype labeling system. So, on all of our other Punnett squares we've done, mom can be AA, and then dad could be like big A, little a, or one of the parents can be B, O, and the other parent can be A, B. And we're just giving them letters. We're not actually determining which one is mom and which one is dad, except that I'm telling you. So prior to this, none of that mattered. But when you are working with sex-linked traits or X-linked traits, you actually have to begin with mom being XX and then dad being XY. Okay, so those are your base letters, and you always start there. Then, depending on what trait we are discussing, the alleles actually now become exponents. And because it's an X-linked or sex-linked trait, these alleles are only on the X chromosome. So the inheritance pattern becomes a little different, right? And we always make these traits a little a, okay, or a little recessive, because typically we're gonna call these traits recessive, and I'm gonna show you those as recessive. So mom can have there's actually 3 different genotypes a female can have for some sort of X-linked trait, and I'm gonna make this trait something called hemophilia. All right, so hemophilia is a disorder where a person's blood doesn't clot. So non-clotting blood. So their platelet production is not that great. And so if you have hemophilia and you get cut or damaged or bruised, you bleed excessively. Sometimes it can lead to death. This day and age, we are able to maintain pretty much normal life for people. You can get platelet infusions. There are some medicines that help with clotting. There's all kind of ways around it. But, 100, 200 years ago, hemophilia was pretty much a death notice for people because stopping bleeding was very difficult. All right, so you can have a mom, and different teachers and different people do it different ways. But this person would be considered normal. I'm not going to give them any of the recessive hemophilia genes. All right. This person would be considered a carrier. Okay. Because this mom would not have hemophilia because you have to have it on both of the X chromosomes. But she's a carrier of the trait, so she could actually pass it along to her children. And then this mom, and I can definitely refer to all 3 of these as mom because they have the female set of chromosomes. So this mom would actually be affected, or in this situation, we would say she has hemophilia or she's a hemophiliac, okay? And for lots of different reasons, females tend to not be able to make it to the point to have babies if they have hemophilia because there's so much blood loss, and that would be very dangerous. The mom here is normal. Now, another way you may see it written is this mom has capital A's, and then capital A stands for normal, as in no hemophilia. So this mom would have a capital A and a little a. And so it kind of marries the 2 concepts where we had dominant recessive traits, but now we put them as exponents on the sex chromosomes. Males, because they only have one X chromosome, the Y chromosome is actually not involved in this trait. So males either are normal or they have hemophilia. So it's sex-linked traits are typically more commonly recognized and seen in males, and that's because they really only have to get unlucky once. Females, you have to inherit the characteristic from both of your parents. Males only have to inherit it from one parent. And if the male has a sex-linked trait, he got it from his mom, and that is 100% real, because where did the Y chromosome come from? Came from dad. So here are your little notes on this. Let me slide this down. All right, these are most common in males. Okay, and that's only because they have one X chromosome, so the odds are against them in this one. But females can have all these traits, and males always inherit these alleles from their mom. That's because if they're a male, the other letter they got was a Y, and they had to get that from dad. Now, there's more than this, but our most common sex-linked traits, and you have to know these, and they will be referred to as sex-linked or X-linked, okay, and they are all inherited the way we're seeing here, is you're going to have hemophilia, right, which is your blood clotting disorder. And if I give you a question, or if you are given a question about hemophilia, the test giver will assume that you know hemophilia is a sex-linked trait and that you will know to do this. They're not going to tell you typically. All right. Another one is baldness. So there are multiple different alleles for baldness, but if you are bald, you are typically going to inherit it from your mother. So boys always look at their dad's side of the family for baldness, but baldness doesn't come from your dad's side of the family because it's carried on your X chromosome. So baldness in boys comes from mom. So if you want to know if you're going to be bald, you need to look at her dad and then look at her side of the family. Now, that doesn't mean you're going to be bald, but there's a chance. If your grandpa on your mom's side is bald, you have a chance. Dad is a different thing. Dad's baldness could be inherited a different way, so you could get it from him too. And on that sad note, women can also be bald. Baldness comes later in life. And so if they got those two bad little alleles, then mom will be bald too. Now, boys, if your mom happens to be bald or have hair issues, you are too, because you definitely got that gene from her. All right. And then, so we have hemophilia, we have baldness, and we have color blindness. Okay, so the gene for color blindness is also on that X chromosome, and it's usually the red-green color blindness. So what happens is in your eyes, you make rods that detect light, and then you have cone cells that detect color. And people who inherit the color blindness gene, their cone cells, they don't have different ones for red and green. They only have one. So they can't actually tell the difference between red and green because their eye perceives them or sends the signal to the brain, and the brain perceives them as the same color. So boys, color blindness came from your mom. And if your mom is colorblind, boys are going to have a 100% chance of getting it. So I'm going to do a couple of little Punnett squares for you, and then I'm going to have some questions. So for example, if I said I have a mom who is a carrier for hemophilia, okay, so that means mom carries the trait, but does not actually have hemophilia, and she marries a normal dad, okay, so we start out sex link, mom, dad. And then we go, okay, mom is a carrier. So carrier means big A and little a, and dad is normal, so I'll give him a big A. Okay, so big A equals normal, little a equals hemophilia. All right, so when we do the Punnett square, the Punnett squares are just replicating all the possible combinations you can get in reproduction. All right, this process that I'm about to draw, where I put mom's sex chromosomes and dad's sex chromosomes. This is like meiosis. So one parent can give that, or one parent can give that, or excuse me, mom can give her X chromosome that is the normal allele, or her X chromosome that has the hemophilia allele. Dad only has the normal allele on his X chromosome, and then, or he could give the Y. So in this scenario, This would be a girl, and she would be normal. In this scenario, this would be a girl, and she would be also normal, but she's a carrier, okay? Here, this is a male that is normal, but here's the bad news. This is a male that has hemophilia. So with these parents, there's all kinds of ways they can ask you questions. So, for example, if I said the chance of a normal child. So I'm not asking for boy or girl, I'm just asking normal. So that's 1, 2, 3. So 3 out of 4. Okay. Now, if I said a normal male, now I'm only looking at my 2 males, and that's going to be a 50-50 chance. If I say, what's the chance of having just a male? That's also a 50% chance. Now, if I said a carrier female, okay, so depends on how I'm asking. If I said of the females, which one is a carrier, then I'm just looking at them, and that's going to be 1/2. But if I said of all the children, how many are carriers, that's going to be a 1/4 chance. So in genetics, you want to pay attention to the way they ask the question. All right, so another kind of cool concept of sex-linked traits is cats. There are certain cats that their color of their fur is on their X chromosomes. So you have O for orange fur, and you have B for black fur. Right? So if you have a female cat, their sex chromosomes are just like humans. I think we looked at a karyotype of a female cat. No, actually, we looked at a male cat. All right, so and this isn't for all cat breeds, but in this particular cat breed, their coat color is on their X chromosomes. So I'll do it in a different color so you can see. So a female cat that gets an orange gene on both of her X chromosomes would be orange. Same thing with a male. He only has one, so he just gets one option, so he's orange. All right, if she gets the black allele on her X chromosomes, both of them, then she is black. And then this guy right here, he is also going to be black. But females, when they have an orange gene and a black gene, they actually come out speckled. So they're going to be calico. Some books will call them tortoiseshell cats, okay? But they have black patches and orange patches. And we will discuss why that happens later. But basically, if you looked at their body, here's your little cat. All right, so cute. All right, so your cat, female, some of her cells have the X chromosome with the B on. Okay, and we'll talk about how you turn genes on and off. So in those patches, the black color shows up that has the X chromosome with the B on it. But some of her cells, she turns the black one off and turns the orange one on. And so then she's going to be orange in those spots. Okay. So she would have some patches that are black and some patches that are orange. And human females can do the same thing with our X chromosomes because if you notice, males only have one X chromosome. So honestly, you only need one X chromosome to survive. So female mammals tend to, in a big cell, you have all your chromosomes in the nucleus. Because there's 2 X's, it's like having 2 competing females. You take one of your X's and they methylate it. So to turn off an X chromosome is to methylate it. All right, and so methylation literally means to attach methyl groups. And I told you a long time ago, those are your CH4s. So that chromosome get all these methyl groups attached to it, and basically it's like Gorilla Glue, okay? That thing is off. It cannot do anything. So then there's only one X chromosome in charge, and we call these chromosomes that have been turned off, we call them Barr bodies. All right, and we're going to really get into, I'll do a whole different video about methylation of chromosomes and how this happens and all the different side effects of it. But for our purposes today, for sex-linked traits, you are expected to know that cat coat color is on these X chromosomes. And you're also expected to know that if I tell you that the cat is calico, I want you to know that it has to be a female. So I'm not going to tell you it's a calico female. I'm just going to say a calico cat. Now, based on that, you can, if I ask you to do a cross between a calico and a calico, the answer should be no cross because that's two females, and two female cats cannot have a baby. But if I said do a calico times a black cat, you should not ask me which one's the girl and which one's the boy, because understanding the knowledge of sex-linked traits, you should know that the calico cat is female. All right, so if I ask you to do this cross, the calico means she has an orange gene and a black gene. That's what you're expected to know. A black cat, in this scenario, I know for sure is a boy because the calico is the girl. So when I do the Punnett square, okay, I've got this and I've got this from the mom, and then dad could give the black X or he can give the Y. So in this box we have a calico girl, we have a black girl, we have an orange male, and we have a black male. Okay? So this is the probability if a calico cat mates with a black cat. So she would have 1 out of 4 chance of a calico, 2 out of 4 chance of a black cat, okay, as long as I'm not saying boys or girls, and then 1 out of 4 of an orange. All right, and the black cats could be male or female. The orange cats are all males, and the calicos are all females. All right, now, if this is your cat and then one neighbor has the black cat and one neighbor has an orange cat, oops, that should be a Y. Here, XO, Y. Let's do the cross. Okay, because sometimes you're wondering who is if your cat has kittens, you're trying to figure out which dad is responsible. So I'll do this Punnett square in green. So we're going to do this dad. So we'll put him on the side. So he's orange. And then same mom. Okay, so in this box we have an orange female. And in this box we have a calico female. And in this box we have an orange male. And in this box we have a black male. So when we do our numbers here, 1 in 4 chance calico, and we know she will be female. We have 1 in 4 chance that it's a black cat, and that one has to be male. And then we have 2/4 chance that they're orange, and those are going to be male and female. So if you're trying to determine who the parent of if you have like a litter of cats, calico is not going to help you because both crosses can have calico. Black here on this one, it could be male or it could be female. So that's not going to really help you too much because you can tell. But on this one, all of the males will be orange. On this one, if you have any females that are orange, you know that this is the father. If you over here, if you have any females that are black, then you know this is the father. Now, if you don't have either one, then you still don't know who the dad is. But that's how you do sex-linked traits. You give your parents the base letters okay? And then you give them the alleles as exponents. Now, I'll throw a little curveball at you later, and I'll give you a different scenario because not all animals work on this system. Sometimes the male, and we use different letters, is the one that has the two same, and then the female is the one that has a Y chromosome. And so in this situation, same deal, we put the alleles on the Z chromosome, but now maybe the females are more likely to have the trait than the males. So the sex chromosomes in all species is not always XX and XY. And in some species, like the female has two sex chromosomes and the male has one. So we call them like a Z0. All right, and we'll get into all those weird different ways that works. But here is sex-linked traits, and take your notes and put them in your notebook, and then you'll have some practice problems. Have a great day.